Pastor John's kitchen, and you don't want to miss this with a shrimp pasta dish that is dynamite. Usually when I cook dinner, it's a day where John is saying he's tired, he doesn't want to cook, or he's forgotten to lay something out. So usually I'm really great at crock pot meals, or I'm tacos or something like that. But this is one of our favorite family dishes that I found from Pinterest, because I am not an original cook like John is. And so I'm gonna make it for you. And it starts with some great shrimp that's fully cooked. And these, we just keep these in the freezer for the day that I need this. And it comes with other kitchen staples that you see right here, diced tomatoes. Really can add anything you want in this, and it hasn't seemed to be a bad add. And I'm always trying to throw some veggies in my kids' diet. So this has a great combination of spinach, tomatoes, mushrooms, some lemon, garlic, great healthy things that you won't see Pastor cook with. If you, I try to lay these out, but they're still a little frozen in there. So quick thing that you do when you're trying to thaw shrimp is to just put them under some cool running water. So this recipe calls for really a 1 cup of spinach, but the first time I made it, I was like, that's just not enough spinach. I really love spinach. My whole family loves spinach. Even John loves spinach. So I've gotten to the point now that I add 2 bags or 2 little boxes of spinach. I'm just gonna rinse them off, and then I add them to the boiling water with the pasta. And during the quarantine, we could not find our regular pasta. Everything was stripped. You know, everyone was hoarding up the rice and the mac and cheese and the noodles. So this was the only noodle I could find. And so we started using it, and I'm gonna tell you, it is delicious. And so now, this is the only noodle we buy for this dish. And a lot of times we even use it in our spaghetti, because it's just moist and very good. Good stuff. This is where Pastor and I disagree. We have the coolest stove right here that has a rapid boil feature. And so I'm just gonna run over here and put it on high. Pastor's not here today. Shh. So we always, keep going, we always put a little oil in our pasta so it won't stick together. That's plenty. That's got a little extra oil. And then always add salt for sure. You always want to put some salt in there so your pasta isn't bland. I don't know how much on this part. I just add it till it looks good. Now we're just going to wait on that to boil before we add the pasta to it and the spinach. And I'm going to put a lid on it. Because listen, I'm a mom. I need things to cook fast. There we go. It's going to get there soon. While we're waiting on that to boil, I'm going to start making the sauce. And this is where all the yummy stuff is inside. So this is another different. I definitely follow a recipe. You know, John was raised as a little boy cooking. I come from a 2-parent home. Hi, Mom and Dad. We cook by with canned food, and you know, maybe at Christmas and Thanksgiving we had some homemade meals. So I grew up learning how to cook things fast. Had a brother and a sister, and we were running around. So I definitely have to follow a recipe and go from there. So you'll see me look at my phone, and I love Pinterest. Everything you need is on Pinterest with a recipe. So to start this out, we put a tablespoon of olive oil. And look, I'm gonna measure too. Just measure right there. So another thing, you know, this recipe calls for whole cloves. I don't have time to crush and mince a whole clove. So I Googled, how much does 1 clove equal in teaspoons? And it's 1 teaspoon. So I'm just gonna add 5 teaspoons. That's good garlic. And a tablespoon of butter. Listen, I am gonna cook this one on medium because we don't want our good things to burn. So Pastor will be happy that I didn't throw this on high. This is gonna simmer and all of these flavors are gonna go together. So this one goes on medium. We're gonna add our shrimp. One thing is I learned to cook with seafood. I've been from Florida. We always had seafood. I love seafood, and this is a great dish to add. You cook shrimp very quickly, about a minute on each side, and it's ready to go. Shrimp is cooking, you sprinkle some paprika and salt, and then in about a minute you're going to flip it and do the other side. So I am so excited because during one of our first vlogs we had the worst can opener, and I said if anybody knows of a good can opener, comment below and let me know. So I have this fancy Pampered Chef can opener now, and so it works great, and I'm so happy because things are so much easier in the kitchen. This recipe calls for fresh tomatoes, but I don't have time for fresh tomatoes today. Sometimes we'll use them if we have one on hand, but today we're going with some dice with basil, garlic, and oregano. I just used 2 cans. Look at that, and that's so awesome. Adults get excited about things like this. I think just go right in the skillet. It's hot. You ready? Look at that, nice boiling hot. All you do here is dump in these noodles. You go right in the pot. We're gonna stir and dump the spinach right in there with it. Alright, that's got to cook about 13 minutes, so here we go. Look at me using a timer. Alright. Last step here before we just relax and wait is, now the recipe doesn't call for mushrooms, but I love some mushrooms. And when you're talking Italian, you might as well throw some mushroom in there. A lot of times I'll throw onion in there too. You just want to drain the mushrooms because you don't need that extra water in your sauce. This is what puts a little kick in your dish. And so we use about a half a teaspoon. It's not too much for the kids, but it does give it a little kick. If you like real spicy, just add a little more. So while we're waiting on the pasta to boil and to finish up this dish, I'm gonna talk to you about parenting and where we are right now. You know, John said, he knew what I was gonna be taping while he was out of town. And I said, I wonder what I can do a Bible study. He said to go on the dietary laws. I'm like, yeah, that's not me. I'm not going to talk about the dietary laws because I don't like pork. So I would follow the dietary laws from the Old Testament, so not so much where he's like from the rooter to the tutor. So I want to talk about today, and today is the first day of school that they're recording this, and so here we are today. I'm working, I'm full-time work, and John's out of town. It's first day of school. Who knows what was happening today? Knowing it was going to be a crazy day. Last week, John said, hey, you think you could do the vlog too? And I was just like, yeah, why not? I mean, just keep adding it up, right? As parents, and especially as moms, we just keep giving and giving and giving until we're exhausted. And so today was one of those days, and it's about 7 o'clock here, and you know, we still got to do baths and bedtime, and we still have a half a day to go. And what do you do with that as parents? Because now we're schooling our kids, we've got to work, you're trying to work from home, or you're trying to do their school when you come home at night, and it's exhausting. But the Word has something to say to us, to the parents, to people who are worried about their older, aging parents who are struggling because they may be sick and they're trying to care for them, to protect them from the coronavirus. There's so much going on right now where it's just not our age group that's stressed and under pressure. It's just all of America, all generations are really stressed. So I'm going to read this Bible verse, 2 Chronicles 15:7. But as for you, be strong and do not give up, for your work will be rewarded. And you know, that's just speaking to me right now to be strong. No matter what's happening in my life, if I can be strong and not to give up. And a lot of times we get frustrated in our family life, but this is really what matters here, is how we deal within our family, how we portray our faith, within our family to others, and then also out this door. And that's what's going to be that is what's going to matter. And if we can't give up, we have to be willing to work hard, to be strong in these moments, and to continue to move forward, and we'll be rewarded for that. And when you're picking up the 15th Ritz cracker on the floor because your kids are at home all day, one day you're going to be rewarded for being faithful to your children and not losing it. Sometimes I lose it, but today I haven't lost it quite yet, so it's been a good day. I also wanted to say that as Christians, as we are being strong in this pandemic, it's really showing our faith to other people in the world who are stressed out, who have no hope. When they look at our families, or they look at our church, or they just look at us at work and we're smiling and we're not stressed out, we're not upset, people want to know what that is. What is it on the inside that gives us hope? And so we're not stressed. We're not losing our minds. And that gives us the greatest opportunity to share God's word with them, to say, hey, the reason why I'm not stressed is because I have hope. This will pass. This is going to go away. I have faith that my family's going to be well. If we get sick, it's all going to be okay. That's what makes the difference between the church from Christians and the world, is that we have everlasting hope. That even if we do get sick and someone in our family has to go in the hospital, we can still have hope. We can still pray. And that attracts non-Christians more than anything else in this world, is how we live and how we have faith in our God who is the creator. So that's really all I have today. Like 3 minutes. I'm shorting in and out. John has more of the words. But I hope and I pray for you and for all of the church and our family that we can be strong in the Lord and that we don't give up. All right. Thanks for joining us today while I took over the homestead kitchen. Sometimes I cook. See y'all later. All right, this is ready to go. Last step is to drain this and then add the pasta and the spinach to our sauce. So right before you serve it, you want to take about a half of a lemon and just a dollop of butter to add to that sauce. You're gonna stir until it melts. Now again, I'm not a good rule follower and everything, like I cooked on high. So I like a little cheese, and so the recipe says for Parmesan cheese. I forgot to get the Parmesan cheese. I'm just gonna put a little Mexican cheese in there because what does it matter? I think the recipe calls for like a fourth or a half a cup, but you know, it doesn't matter when you have cheese in there. That's probably good. Maybe a little right there. Hurry, you gonna pray? Shh, since your daddy's not home. Okay.
God, thank you for this day, and thank you that Mom made this yummy food, and let the rest of the day, the night go well, and let this food bless our bodies. Amen.
Another thing a mom does is always thinks about what's for lunch. And so my kids will eat this for lunch tomorrow or dinner tomorrow on a leftover night. Look at all that leftover. That's enough for a whole family to eat again. Where is the Mexican cheese?
What's it matter?
Cheese, cheese.